In this position in 1995, Grandmaster Vadim takes his opponent's king for a nice walk. Let's see what happens here. So in the game, Vadim starts the combination off with knight takes f2, sacrificing the knight to bring the king out from its castle. And after the king takes, now his idea was to sack the rook with rook takes e3, giving up the rook because after the bishop takes, now he has a fork with knight to g4 check, hitting the king and the bishop. And if you want to drop back king to g1 to safety, then we pick up the bishop with a new fork, winning all the material back. So instead, the opponent goes king to f3 to stay defending the bishop, but now this king is walking in the middle of the board. And we play knight takes h2 check and repeat moves once. But after grabbing the pawn, Vadim didn't want to draw here. He just starts showing off. He plays queen to e6, taking advantage of the bishop pinning the pawn to the king so it can't take the queen, and now threatening the bishop on e3. So the opponent gets out of the way with bishop to f4, trying to trade off some pieces. But after bishop to f4, there's actually a forced mate in 8 moves in this position, and Vadim, he finds it. He plays the calm rook to e8, controlling the open file, but this doesn't come with an obvious threat because everything's defended. So the opponent goes queen to c4 to maintain defense of the knight, but here Vadim finishes it off with queen to e3 check, sacrificing not only the queen, because after the bishop takes and rook takes e3, he's giving up the knight on g4 as well. King takes g4 the only move. And after this, there's one winning sequence here. Bishop to c8, retreating with the bishop, forcing king to g5, but after king to g5, we have pawn to h6 check, sacrificing the pawn, because after the king takes, now the only winning move, rook to e5, locking the door on the king in the opponent's castle and threatening rook to h5 checkmate. And the opponent just resigns the game here, because if you try to defend with queen to h4, you get hit with bishop to f8, checkmate.